The Lite Breakfast with Terry and Leah. Now, the recent Putra Heights fire really started causing us to ask a lot of questions, especially whether we're prepared and how much do we know, how much should we get ready. So, Terry caught up with fire instructor at CERT Academy, Tharan on fire safety tips and how to safely evacuate a burning building.
In light of the Putra Heights gas pipeline fire that just happened, right? And of course, it's still ongoing in terms of the fallout of what the victims are dealing with, right? We're finding out from you now. We want to ask, right? How common are gas pipeline fires like this? Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Sorry, no.
Never, right?
Never, because if let's say when it comes to pipeline working, we are handling with a high hazard working situation.
Yeah.
So safety procedures should be like top notch and everything. So from my encounter, there's no such thing happen in my experience.
Right. When you first found out about it, how did you react to it?
I was at Ipoh. Okay, I had a news like there was like a pipe explosion or something. I was like, hey,
What's this about, right?
what is it about? It's like first time I'm hearing something. Okay, and then I called my friend.
Yeah.
All right, I called my friend. Hey, how you? I thought he's living at Putra Heights.
Oh, you thought you may know someone who was there. Okay.
But that fellow living at Putra Perdana.
Right. Oh, so your friend was actually safe.
Safe.
I think that's what a lot of people did, right? The first thing we did is call people we think may have been there in case someone we know, family, friends, were actually there, right? So some of the residents of the Putra Heights, right, they were trapped inside their homes when it happened because the fire was hot outside, the heat was hot, even though the fire was not that close to them. In a situation like this, right, how do we decide and assess the risk of whether we should evacuate the house or remain inside away from the fire and the heat? How do we decide?
So first thing first, Terry, we need to know one keyword. Don't panic.
Okay.
Okay, right? Don't panic.
That's the hard one already.
All right?
Yeah.
Don't panic. But the thing is, some situation can be handled. Okay, we are humans, right? We'll be panic.
Yeah.
Second thing, let's say the fire is small, all right? It can be like extinguished by using a fire extinguisher. You don't need to evacuate. You just can call 999, all right? We have our firefighters, right?
Right.
But, okay, let's say there's a fire that is uncontrollable.
Yeah, like this one. Like the one
this
that
one,
happened,
right?
yeah.
You can feel the heat. I later on, I did a visit at the site.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, everything is cool, but I can feel like, wow, there's still some kind of warmth.
Even though you went after the main incident.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was like, immediately evacuate.
Right. No matter what.
No matter what.
Right.
Life is more important than equipments that you have in your house.
So what you're saying is that even because it's so big at that point, the heat is so intense that staying in your home is not really an option at that point.
No. Because home is like a confined space also. Even though you have a doors and windows and everything, it's considered as a confined space.
Yeah.
So the heat will trap inside the house.
Yeah.
You can suffocate, if like there's a smoke and everything.
Yeah, people don't think about the other things that happen. It's not always the fire that is the thing that will harm you, right? It's the other issues like smoke inhalation and also suffocation.
There's one quote called "smoke kills more people than fire."
Oh, that's a thing?
That's the thing.
Okay.
Okay, you can escape the fire situation. Okay, but if let's say you trap inside the smoke, okay, in a room or something, you will need to breathe in and breathe out, right?
Right.
There will be no oxygen. It's just a toxic gas everywhere. You will be faint.
You have to get out.
You need to get out.
Okay,
immediately go for evacuation.
Right.
More with Tharan fire instructor at CERT Academy, coming up on the Lite Breakfast.
In this particular issue, in this particular incident, right, a person is trying to leave the house. How do you do it as safely as possible? It's so hot out there. What can you do? What can you use in your home to make it as safe as possible for yourself?
Okay, first thing first. All right, so already hot. The temperature is rising. Try to find a wet cloth, okay, a blanket or something. Try to soak in the water, cover yourself. It can prevent the radiation of the heat.
Okay.
Okay, and then another safer way, try to turn off the mini circuit breaker like a fuse box.
Okay.
The radiation, the heat contained inside the house, maybe can damage the electronic equipments.
So if you have time to do this also.
Yeah.
Now, when it was happening, the first thing I thought about also is in our individual homes, we have the normal gas tank, the tong gas, right? The one that we used to cook. Is there something we should do about that? Like,
Don't worry, it won't explode.
It won't.
It won't explode.
Okay.
It won't explode. All right. So the first thing you guys need to focus on electrical equipments.
All right. Turn off the fuse box.
Our Malaysian citizens we like to plug in a lot of plugs on over and over and over again.
Right,
That's a
right.
very bad habit,
Into
right?
one outlet, is it?
Yeah.
Right. So don't do that.
Don't
and also,
do that.
so to begin with, we shouldn't do that at all.
do
But
that.
we are already doing that now.
And
Want to save on
save the plug point system, right?
Yeah. Also, we've got so much more equipment now than we actually have plug points in our houses in some cases, right? Now, you mentioned we should try to get a wet blanket, put it over ourselves and escape the home.
Yes.
If we don't have enough blankets, for example, let's say there's too many people, should we just pour water on ourselves, wet ourselves before going out?
you can
Just be wet.
Be wet.
Oh, okay.
Well, for say a person like me, I need 2 types of towel, Alright, I need to cover myself also.
I like how you're not that large. You're not.
almost, right?
So other than that, is there anything else we can do? Wet ourselves, make sure we're either wearing wet clothes or a wet blanket and then start running.
Start running.
Okay.
Evacuation is most important thing. Even our pegawai bomba, right? Everyone advise, don't try to fight with the fire.
Okay. Because
Evacuate.
some people will try to save as many of their things as they run, take something with them. But when it's this imminent, then you just have to go.
Just to go.
Right. More coming up on fire safety and how to safely evacuate a burning building here on the Lite Breakfast. Let's say now in a different situation, a fire has started inside your house.
Okay.
Right? Like you're at home and suddenly you realize something is on fire.
Alright.
What's the most important tips you can share to deal with this situation when you come across a fire in your own home?
Again, Terry, I'm going to say,
Don't panic.
Don't
I know.
panic.
First thing,
Alright.
don't panic.
Don't panic.
Right.
Okay. Second thing, you need to find the source of the fire.
Right.
Where's the fire coming from? From the electric or the gas or maybe on your laptop. Okay. Imagine, Terry, there's a fire on your laptop. Can you use water to extinguish the fire?
I say yes.
Cannot.
Oh, God, I will get electrocuted.
Yes.
Okay. I purposely gave the wrong answer first.
Yeah, I got it. All right. So you need to find an alternative way.
Okay.
Alternative way. First thing first, you need to switch off the fuse box.
Okay. So not even go to the outlet where it's plugged into. Go to the fuse box itself.
The
right?
main.
The main, yeah.
The main. All right. Turn off the switchboard, and then let's say once you turn off the switchboard, there's no electricity supply over there.
Yeah.
Try to find the wet towel, soak in the water, right, towel, and cover it on top.
Okay,
That's
that's
it.
when you can use water.
Yes.
After you've made sure that you won't actually electrocute yourself.
Yep.
Right, okay.
So there will be let's say there's electric still ongoing. There will be a 2 incident. One, your laptop is on fire. Another one, you electrocute yourself already.
Yeah. So in this case, you're mentioning it's a piece of electronic equipment.
Yeah.
But there are many other causes of fires as well, right?
Stove,
Stove, yeah.
gases, okay, and then papers, right? Okay, papers and woods you can use water. Some say, okay, I already did the experiment, all right. You can mix water with the soap,
Okay.
liquid soap, to extinguish the fire.
Like dishwash soap, like the
Yeah,
dishwashing
yeah.
liquid. Okay. Do enough people have fire extinguishers at home?
No, I can show you that.
So based on your experience, right?
Based my experience,
Yeah.
I already trained a lot of companies, a lot of participants on my studies. Okay, 80 to 90%. Okay, our Malaysian citizens doesn't have a fire extinguisher in their houses.
Right.
All right. If let's say I ask why you don't have a fire extinguisher in your house, why? Why?
Is it expensive? Is that why? Why do people
no,
not? Yeah.
it's not expensive. If let's say you purchase one time, you can use for 10 years.
Right. And that's another good point you bring up. It has an expiry date.
Yep.
Yeah, some people will have a fire extinguisher, but do you find that they've held on to it for too long?
Too long. It didn't do any maintenance services. All right. That's the reason I'm here. I
Yeah.
will teach them how to do the service, how to do the maintenance, right?
Yeah.
How to use the proper fire extinguisher and everything.
Yeah.
A to Z.
Okay, also when we think of fire extinguishers, we imagine those ones that are strapped to the hospital pillar when you go to UH, right? And then it's there, stuck there, the big one, right? There are other types of fire extinguishers that
Yeah.
are more portable.
Yes. There's
Okay.
a foam type.
Uh-huh.
All right. There's like a CO2 type.
Right.
All right. There's a classes of fire extinguisher,
Is there a best one for the home?
Best one for the home is the ABC dry powder.
What's that?
It's like a powdery type of a fire extinguisher.
But it also gets sprayed out?
Yeah.
Okay.
It will stick on the surface of the fire.
Okay.
So it will prevent
Okay.
fire spread.
What's it called? ABC
dry powder.
ABC dry
Dry
powder,
powder,
something
yes.
to remember. So it's does it work on most types of different fires
Yeah.
also?
Yeah.
So it's like a one extinguisher for most fires.
Most fire. It's like a
Right.
universal fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
More coming up with Tharan Veerapandiyan, fire instructor at CERT Academy here on the Lite Breakfast.
We were talking about types of fires just now, right? At home, what are the common types of fires?
Stove, the oil type of fire.
That means while a person is cooking.
Cooking,
Okay.
and then let me give you one incident.
Mm.
Right, someone like cooking and everything, and then suddenly went to the hall watching drama or something. The stove started on fire.
Mm.
Okay, the best fire extinguisher you can use is a dry powder because dry powder will stick
Do it, like you said, yeah.
onto it. There's another fire extinguisher called CO2,
Okay.
carbon dioxide.
Because fires need oxygen.
Yes,
Okay.
fire needs oxygen. So we have CO2, carbon dioxide. CO2 is not convenient for big fires.
Oh, okay.
Smaller one, yes.
Okay.
Electrical equipments, yes.
Okay.
If let's say there's a fire on stove, alright, okay. CO2 is not convenient.
Okay.
The dry powder is best fire
Almost
extinguisher.
every situation.
Every
So
situation.
you've mentioned the gas one on the stove is a common way homes fires start at home.
Yeah.
Another common fire other than electrical, also you mentioned electrical things starting to burn.
Okay.
Are there other options of things that start fires at home?
Electrical fuse box.
The fuse box itself will catch
Fuse
fire.
box, itself.
Isn't that what is supposed to stop from happening? The fuse box is there.
Because we are using overload of electricity, right?
Right.
Like my house, right? Have a lot of like woods, right? Everything.
Okay, furniture.
Furnitures, right? My father is like a carpenter. He likes to do a lot of things like sets of tables and
Is
everything.
this why you became a person who is an expert in dealing with fires? Your father loves working with wood.
There's multiple times of incident happened already in my house.
Okay, okay.
Because of my father.
Okay, I'm starting
But
to understand better now.
But the way he handled the situation, he was
Yeah.
like, there's a fire. Let me put out the fire. That's it.
Oh, okay, because he knows how to
He
handle
knows.
it. Right.
He's the one taught me, don't panic.
Right.
The situation happened already.
Right.
If you panic, nothing can do.
Right.
All right.
So
you can,
if you're calm, you can deal with it like step
Yeah.
by step.
yeah.
Okay. So let's say a fire starts at home. We're
Alright.
talking about it, right? You're trying to put it out. You're using the fire extinguisher. You're like one of the people who has a fire extinguisher, or even if you don't, you're trying to deal with it. At which point do you decide, okay, I've tried everything. The fire is still getting bigger. I need to just get out of the house at this point already.
You don't know. Okay. Alright.
When do I decide, okay, I'm stopping the fighting because it's getting too dangerous?
Okay. You're out of the fire extinguisher and equipment, and
Yeah.
say the fire keep growing and growing and growing. I can feel the heat. Okay, I'm getting roasted myself. Just evacuate.
Right. When it feels unsafe and you can't tolerate it anymore.
Yes, we can see the growth of the fire.
Does the next step? What's the next step? That is, of course, is to call emergency services 999. Do you also immediately go and start telling your neighbors?
Yes.
Yeah.
Need to inform the neighbor because if we are living in the terrace house, right? If let's say there's a loud house, it's another story. The fire won't spread to the neighbor side. If let's say you're living in a terrace house, you need to inform the neighbor also.
Yeah.
If there's a fire, you guys need to evacuate also. If let's say you have a fire extinguisher, please lend me the fire extinguisher. That's the reason every time I advise my participants, try to buy 1 or 2 fire extinguisher.
Right.
I advise them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can last long for 10 years.
And
Only
the powder type, you said the powder type is
Powder
the best
type.
one. Okay.
Go for powder type.
Yeah. More coming up on fire safety and how to safely evacuate a burning building here on the Lite Breakfast. What type of house is most commonly the type that ends up having a fire in it?
Terrace house.
Oh,
Terrace house. Most I had one story. Okay, there's a terrace house, right? The family bought like 2 or 3 terrace house at the same time.
Oh, they bought 3 in a row.
3 in a
2
row.
or 3 in a row. Okay.
And then they break the wall, right?
Oh,
At
okay,
the
okay.
middle of the wall. So one of the house got in on a fire. The fire started to spread. Zap.
Quickly, like from one to the other
4
one.
minutes.
In 4 minutes, it
4
went
minutes.
from 1 to all 3.
Yeah.
And did it continue past that because they've got neighbors, right?
Neighbors, but the thing is, our firefighters were very fast responsive.
Okay.
They came around like 4 to 5 minutes, extinguished the fire.
Why is it? Because when you say terrace houses, I thought in my mind, condos may be the ones that are more likely to cause more damage because it's more homes all in one space, right? But in your experience, actually, it's terrace houses that seem to be facing this. Do you think there's a reason why?
There's a reason.
Okay.
Condos, okay, only have one open window.
Okay.
All right. There's only one layer of oxygen will come inside, and
Right.
there's like a ventilation. All right.
Okay.
Terrace house is different. There's like two or three places. You have a window. You have a back door.
right,
they have a
right.
more oxygen consumed in the terrace house.
Because it flows through.
Yes.
So the fire gets bigger, gets fed more fuel faster.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even consider that. So that's one more reason why you need to be more careful.
Be more careful.
Wow. Finally, we need to find out, what's the most important tips you can share for fireproofing our homes? Like, now that we know that we are susceptible to these occurrences, and now that this big incident just happened, how can we make our homes as safe as possible from fires? Like, whether it comes to appliances, equipment, or even skills that we need to learn ourselves.
Yes.
Like, what do you think?
First thing first, I would advise, try to buy a fire extinguisher.
First
right?
thing, huh?
First thing.
At least
And
one.
At least one.
Or at least 2.
Double-story house, 2.
So 1 for every floor.
Yeah.
Okay, at
Okay,
least.
At least.
Okay.
And then fire blanket. That's the equipment called fire blanket.
That shiny one, right?
The shiny one.
Yeah.
All right. It can withstand heat around 300 degrees, more than 300 degrees. You can
Right.
cover yourself.
Is it expensive? Like, I'm sure. Okay, fire blanket.
Fire blanket.
Okay.
Okay. And then you can install like smoke detector or heat detector.
Okay.
Portable type one.
Okay.
Okay, during any emergency, it will like trigger the alarm.
Mm.
At least you can aware of something, alright?
Most people put this in the kitchen specifically,
Kitchen.
right? But if you can put one in every room,
Yeah.
even
it's
better.
Better.
Okay. You also mentioned having that fire extinguisher at home, right? Where is the best place to put the fire extinguisher?
Good question.
Okay.
One in a hallway, alright, living
Okay.
room.
Okay.
Okay. Because most of our equipment, electrical equipment, at the living room. Another one is in the kitchen.
Okay.
That's the best way. And make sure you can see the fire extinguisher.
Okay, it's obvious.
Obvious, alright? Okay, that's a fire extinguisher. Alright?
So to find out more about training with CERT, which is the Certified Emergency Response Training Academy, where can people go? Is there a website? Is there an Instagram account?
There's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
Right.
Alright, you can contact me also, right?
Yeah.
Thank you to Person Tharan Veerapandian, fire instructor at CERT Academy, for sharing all these safety tips and also how to safely evacuate a burning building.
And you can find out more about CERT Academy by visiting their Instagram page or Facebook page. Just type out CERT Academy. CERT ACADEMY. Now,